I have been using the Sony A7 IV since its launch, and in between I have used a lot of cameras, but somehow I have always came back to this because as someone who shoots photos and videos, this still feels like one of the best hybrid cameras out there. But when Sony announced this, the all-new Sony A7 V, I was curious. I was curious about how much better it can really be. And when I finally got my hands on it, I was clear about one thing. I don't want to test this in the studio. So I took it to the mountains. And after testing the Sony A7 V in some quite challenging scenarios and after actually living with it for quite a while now, I think I understand what Sony is trying to do here. So let's talk about it. The Sony A7 V still features a 33 megapixel sensor, but now it comes with improved readout speed, which basically means faster performance and less rolling shutter. You also get a brand new Bionz XR2 processor, bringing Sony's latest autofocus system to this lineup. Now, here's something wild. You get pre-burst capture on the Sony A7 V, which lets you capture moments even before you press the shutter button fully. So, missing moments with the Sony A7 V is quite literally impossible right now. Stabilization has also been upgraded. Now, the Sony A7 V features a 7.5 stops of IBIS in-body image stabilization. As someone who always shoots handheld, shooting videos on the Sony A7 V feels ridiculously stable. And finally, the all-new tilt plus flip screen combo. This might feel small, but for creators like us, this is a real game changer. And I have been a fan of this screen since I have tested this on Sony A9 Mark III. And I'm really glad the Sony announced the same articulating screen on the Sony A7 V. It's a real game changer, trust me. Now let's talk about ergonomics and build. If you have ever used the Sony A7 IV, this will feel instantly familiar because the body is almost identical. Same grip, same button layout, same card slot. The only real changes, the new screen, the dual USB-C port, everything else stays consistent. And honestly, I like that. But under the hood, this is where things get serious. The Sony A7 V now can shoot up to 30 FPS compared to 10 FPS on the Sony A7 IV. Also, add the 1 second pre-capture on top of that. Missing moments with the Sony A7 V is quite literally impossible at this moment. Now, if we talk about video, the Sony A7 V introduces two major upgrades compared to the Sony A7 IV. Firstly, Sony A7 IV can shoot up to 4K 60 with 1.5x crop, but the Sony A7 V can now shoot up to 4K 60 full frame and 4K 120 FPS with a 1.5x crop. Second, the second native ISO while shooting with S-Log3 on the Sony A7 IV is 3200, but on the Sony A7 V while shooting on S-Log3, the second native ISO is 8000. That's crazy. And in real world low light, this actually helps a lot. Cleaner footage, less noise, more usable shots. Now let's talk about one of the most common problems people faced with the Sony A7 IV, the heating issue. And that's exactly why I want to test the Sony A7 V's thermal performance thoroughly. So I pushed it hard. 4K 24 FPS, 4K 60 FPS. And guess what? It ran for more than 2 hours until the battery died with no overheating issues. And that's insane. Yes, I have done the test in the studio, but when I was shooting under direct sunlight in the mountains, I have never seen the overheating sign for a single time. So I can go as far as saying that this is one of the best thermal performance I have ever seen on a camera body without internal fans. Okay, so final thoughts. After living with the Sony A7 V for quite a while and testing it out in mountains, studios, low light, fast-paced scenarios, in pretty much every kind of scenarios, I can confidently say the Sony A7 V is not a new camera. It's the perfect refinement. I mean, takes everything great about Sony A7 IV and fixes what actually mattered. Faster performance, better stabilization, no overheating, smart shooting features. If you are someone like me who shoot both photos and videos, this might be one of the best hybrid cameras available in the market right now. And apart from all the specs, resolution, speed and whatnot, let me share you my thoughts. In short, when I was shooting with the Sony A7 V in the mountains, I noticed one thing. The Sony A7 V didn't just perform well, it made shooting more fun. And honestly, that's what matters the most. So that's it for today's video, and if you guys have any question about the Sony A7 V, do let me know in the comment section down below. See you guys in the next one. Till then, tada.